Welcome to the first video on this new channel, Truth, Love, and Healing. My name is Kevin. The intention of this video and other videos, if I do make other videos, is simply to share what has been revealed on this path of this consciousness. I'm not here to indoctrinate, to mislead, to distract, to teach, to influence, just to share, and you get from it whatever you will. If you find these videos helpful, please like, subscribe, share. That'll let me know that maybe I'm doing something good. If you don't like it, and it's YouTube, so I'm sure there'll be people that don't like it, that's fine too. Thumbs down, leave a nasty comment. It's all good. The spiritual path can be very, very arduous and can take you many places, up, down, left, right. Sideways, stagnation. It's all part of the path. And one's first devotion should be to truth only. Not what you believe, not what you think, the truth. Christ said, know the truth, it'll set you free. He didn't say no love, he didn't say no God, he said no truth. Because until there's truth, you can't even know what love or God even is. So with devotion to truth, with humility and honesty that you don't know, dropping the vanity of position, we could step away from perception. Perception could be allowed to fade away, and vision can replace it. Vision only comes about through one thing, which is light. Light only comes from divinity, not something that comes from you. It's the vanity. So the humility is I do not see. Christ said, why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye when you have a beam in your own? We all have beams in our eyes, and it's helpful to be honest and humble. Recognize that. Perception is not vision. Perception is of belief. Perception is of positionality. It's all ego. Vision, when those things are invested in, and the truth will come forth with such obviousness, such radiance, there could be no question about if it's true. So within the domain of divinity, love and truth are one. They're not two separate things. However, in the domain of the ego, of perception, belief, truth and love are separate. Very separate. We love things that are not true. There's things that are true that we don't love. Love without truth is the most dangerous thing on the planet, because there is nothing we will not do for love. Over time, over history, there have been radicals who have killed in the name of God, killed in the name of their beliefs. They were doing it through the love of what they believed to be true. It wasn't true. Not good. We prefer to not have that. But it's only through the work we do within ourselves that we elevate consciousness as a whole. Because there is no separation. There's only consciousness. As consciousness localized within you, you call you. As you undo the positions, as you de-invest in them, they fall away and consciousness elevates. Through that elevation, the whole level of the sea rises as well, with all boats within it. So instead of going out to save the world and change others, do the work within, change yourself, elevate your own frequency. It's vanity to try to change another. Christ said, why do you see the speck in your brother's eye when you have a beam in your own? Humility, the work within yourself. So the first aspect of work within consciousness, the evolution of consciousness, is first humility. Recognize that you don't know anything. At best, you believe something. Belief is not truth. Belief is belief. Truth is revealed. So with the alignment of truth, We allow these things to come up. And when you do that, all sincere prayers are answered. So when you pray for truth, when you pray for spiritual purification, buckle up, because everything that's within consciousness that is misaligned with truth, with that perfect love, will come up, be healed, be seen, to be surrendered. So a lot of people have a misperception of the spiritual path and what it's really all about. People think it's, rainbows and fairies and unicorns and love and peace and kumbaya. Nothing could be further from the truth. Because when one is seeking to purify consciousness, to evolve, everything that's in the way must be brought up. And the things that are held within consciousness, especially within the unconscious, can be very, very rough. So the first step really is to work on loving yourself. Because within all of us is the darkest of dark. Carl Jung was a famous psychologist, I don't know the difference, but he spoke about the shadow, owning the shadow, facing the shadow. In terms of the tales of Christ, Christ went out to the wilderness to be tempted by Satan, that darkness. Buddha, who sat at a tree for 49 days until the truth was revealed, was tempted by lust, by power, by all these things, and sat still, sat in power, sat in presence. These are not, with Christ and Buddha, who are some of the most profound, if not the most profound manifestations of consciousness on this planet that's ever been seen. Don't think you're separate from that. So if your devotion is to truth, you first go to the truth of that you are lovable. You're innocent. Christ spoke about the innocence of the child. Innocence is consciousness itself, pure, untainted consciousness. And consciousness is analogous to the hardware of a computer. It has no defense against the software that is downloaded onto the hardware of consciousness. Therefore, everyone is innocent. Everything is forgivable. The key is to not confuse innocence with purity. That's a very lethal mistake, can be lethal. Some people are ravening wolves. That is their nature. That is what they are because of the program that's been received. Christ, as he was being crucified and ridiculed and tortured, his only prayer, his decree, was forgive them for they know not what they do. And that is a fact. If they knew better, they would do better. Now, first, work on our own self. Work on the love of oneself. We've all made incredible mistakes, myself especially, incredible mistakes. There's been weakness. There's been falling from grace through the overwhelm of trauma, of misdirection. And as these things come up, it could be very devastating to face that. As consciousness evolves, we start seeing a little clearer. Then comes the guilt of how could I have done that? How could I have been that way? But compassion for oneself, I didn't have the ability to be different. I didn't have the ability to choose otherwise. Otherwise, I would have. You start with that. You see your own innocence. You see your own lovability. You also could recognize the trauma that you faced in life. In our earliest years as children, we're so influenced by the energies that we are faced with, primarily through our family environment, through media and entertainment, friends, or surroundings. It has a profound effect on our consciousness. And when we're, as children, when we're traumatized, it's very challenging to be a functioning human being. Even many times when we are a quote unquote functional human being, a lot of times that's just surface level. All it takes is a little nudge and some of those traumatic reflexes come out. And we find ourselves in a very unfulfilled state of life. And that's that is the big challenge, is seeing the trauma, recognizing the trauma. And for myself specifically, I could not see the trauma because it was the very lens that the world was viewed through. You can't recognize that you're seeing the world through this distorted lens when the distorted lenses are on your face. So there has to be a radical humility to allow vision to replace perception. The light of God shines through allowing it, through removing the clouds of belief and perception and willfulness. And the sun shines forth of its own radiance. And we could see for the first time. We could see the distortions. We could see the mistakes. And as we continue to be strong as these things come up, because you will have to be strong, keep allowing the layers of the onion to peel back, to peel back, to peel back. Then start seeing that, okay, I've been way off, way off. And compassion for oneself. And the beauty of going through a treacherous life, going through the pain, the abuse, the things that we go through, is that if you can do it, if you could be strong, if you could submit, be humble, you will be taken through the valley of the shadow of death. You will. I promise you. And when you get through it, you will be a formidable force of good, power of good. And you can help those who are lost in the valley. That's the miracle of pain, of the path of pain, of misery, of trauma, is that when you make it through it, now you could have clear vision, not perception, vision. Look back and say, hey, to those who are lost, and say, hey, the light's a little bit that way. And you have a credibility of being there. It's an energy that can't be duplicated, can't be falsified. So don't resent the way your life is unfolded. Just submit and ask God to guide you through. Ask God to help you see why. Why have these things happened? And turn your pain into power. Be the light to help others. We all help each other. We are all one human family trying to figure this out. So I think that's good enough for a first video. If you guys, like I said, if any of this resonates, if you like it, please like the video, subscribe, share. Maybe I'll do more. So with that, I hope you enjoy your day. I hope you enjoy your week, month, your life. Return. Thank you.